Hey, this is Andrew Brown. In this video, we're going to take a look at Amazon Polly. So Amazon Polly is a tool that is text-to-speech. So here we are in this example. I believe that I am capturing system sound, so you should be able to hear stuff. I'm going to go over to standard, and we're just going to preview anything. We'll go down to Matthew here and just say, let's just see if this will work here. So go ahead and hit listen.
Hi, I'm Matthew. I will read any text you type here.
So that's what Matthew sounds like on standard. Let's go up to long form, and you'll notice that it's going to change based on what options you have here. Basically, I think like every single one. Most of them are different. So here's Gregory. There is no Gregory at the standard. And we'll see if this one sounds better.
Hey, I am Gregory. Test my voice on longer content such as news articles, training materials, or marketing videos.
Okay, sounds all right. Let's go over to Neural.
Hi, my name is Gregory. I will read any text you type here.
And you can tell that this one has a much better sound to it. And so basically, standard is the cheapest. Neural is going to be the most expensive. We'll also have these options for SSML. So this is something that we can play around with. We can go take a look at the syntax that is supported by AWS. So I'm going to go over here and take a look at the supported SSML tags. And there are quite a few. So maybe we can go in here and change, maybe add like a pause. I think there's one for breathing, which I think is interesting. So we'll go down here. I'm going to go ahead and just copy this here. We'll go back. And we'll put a breath right in between. We'll see if we can hear that. It says that there is an issue here. The input contains invalid SSML syntax, which I'm really surprised because we're copying and pasting it here. But let's go back and take a look. To use the attribute set, etc. Maybe it cannot be used with this one. Sometimes these don't work with particular voices. What if we go to long form? Does it work now? No, it does not like it. Interesting, because we are using exactly the format that it's asking us to utilize. How about we just try to do a simpler one here, just the breath. And we will take that out here and try this. Okay, so it doesn't work with its own language examples. Let's just go ahead and copy this one completely as an example here. And I don't hear anything. Let's try standard.
Sometimes you need to insert one or more average breaths so that the text sounds correct.
Okay, so we can hear the breath. Let's try long form and see if it will work for this. Okay, and so I think basically what's happening here is that it's only working for very particular voices. Usually it'll tell you this tag is supported only by standard TTS format. So it's saying standard, which is what it's talking about here. So that makes sense. We go take a look at something else. Maybe this one here. We'll go ahead and copy this. I think this only works with Neural. And I think it says that at the top here. Are only available in the Matthew and Jonah voices. Maybe that's only under standard. Okay. Nope, not that one. Let's try long form. Let's read this carefully again. The newscaster style is only available for Matthew or Jonah voices, which are available only in American English and is only supported in the Neural format. Okay, Neural, Matthew, listen.
From the Tuesday, April 16, 1912 edition of the Guardian newspaper. The maiden voyage of the White Star liner Titanic, the largest ship ever launched, has ended in disaster.
All right, so we get the idea of how that works. That's pretty straightforward. We can save this stuff to S3. We can download the stuff if we want to. We could add lexicons. I'm not going to really get into that. But the idea is that if you had things that were not normal to pronounce, like maybe AWS service names, you could do that. But generally, AWS service names work pretty well here. But let's programmatically utilize this because, again, that's how we're going to actually use it in production. Go ahead and type in Polly. I'm just going to keep with Ruby because it's super easy to utilize for this. And I'm just going to go ahead and cd into that directory. You should probably spell Polly correctly. And as per usual, use what other environment that you want to utilize. This one's already preloaded with my environment variables. So if I do AWS STS get caller identity, it should connect to my AWS examples user account. So I should have the ability to do stuff here. I'm going to go ahead and generate out a bundler file. Okay, and I'm just going to go over to the translate one because I just recently did that one and it has some stuff we can copy out of it. So like, it's going to be pretty similar to this one, except instead of having translate, we'll try poly. I think it's poly for this. And we'll go ahead and do bundle install. Probably save this file, make sure we save it. And I'll just make sure, there we go. The folder name is correct. Let's go over to the AWS SDK version 3. And you'll notice like I'm not really leveraging any kind of LLM service to write our code for us, just because I find that half the time it doesn't write the correct code. I'd rather just go ahead and grab it from here. It's so darn easy. But we're looking for poly. And yeah, we'll need the client, so that's pretty straightforward. So we'll grab this line here. We'll place that into our main. We're going to need to require AWS SDK poly. So we have our client, and we want to synthesize speech. You can start tasks and stop them later on, but we're keeping it really simple, and we're just going to synthesize something that should return something immediately. All right. I don't need any lexicons in this. MP3 is fine. Sample rate is fine. That seems fine to me. Text type is fine. Voice ID is fine. I think you can specify the engine in here. Yeah, so I'll just go ahead and copy this. Make sure we're being very explicit. I assume that it would default to standard, but we'll just modify that there quickly. And I'm just wondering here, the idea is that we're going to get an audio stream. Okay. That's great, but how do I download that file? Maybe we can just save it to a file. All right, so write IO to file Ruby. I know how to write to a file, but it's an input output. So we'll type in Ruby IO, because that is actually a particular object. We're using 3.4, but or a later version of Ruby, but Ruby documentation doesn't change that much between version 2 and 3, so it doesn't really matter if we go to a later one. So opens the file. Is there like a write? I usually work with files and not necessarily this way. Yeah, so maybe we can write the stream this way. I'm not 100% certain. We have like an offset here. Don't really want to do any offset. But maybe what we'll do for fun is we'll ask AWS to write the code for us and see if it can do it. Like not for the poly part, but the other parts. So I'm just trying to think where we get code that would write it for us. Maybe Bedrock. Text generation. I'm going to go ahead and try this here. Chat. Select a model. Anthropomorphic. This is the one I know that is newer. Apparently I have to request access for this. Manage model access. And I believe that... Oh, it doesn't let me select anthropomorphic. Anthropomorphic, because that's Claude is what's supposed to be really good. But I just need anything to work here. I can't checkbox these. Apparently I have to submit the use case here, which is annoying. But maybe one of these will work. I'm just going to try and enable some of these here. I use ChatGPT. I'm just trying to use everything AWS here. And so those models are now activated. We'll select a model here. I'm going to go over to something here. Can give this a nice refresh. Oh no, I can do that. Write the code to dump the IO audio stream to a file. Let's see if it can do that. Okay, but this is Ruby code. Try this again. It doesn't know Ruby. Not familiar with Ruby, however, the concept of downloading audio API in Python is similar to Ruby. That's so bizarre. I've never come across a model that's like, I only know this language, so... okay, that's fine. I mean, I was hoping something a bit better. I guess I'll just go ahead and use ChatGPT in this case. Because, you know, when you're dealing with like input-output files, you don't want to goof around all day. So I need to write the IO audio stream to a file. All right, we'll just give it a second to generate. And you know what's interesting is that ChatGPT is getting confused and it's thinking it's Python. The reason why is that syntactically Ruby can be written as Python. That's like a feature of Ruby. And so it's getting really confused here. And it's taking forever to finish here. So I'm going to tell it to adjust the code. And so hopefully it will be a bit smarter. I am working with Ruby. You just seem to think I'm working with Python. Okay, and it's suggesting FFmpeg, which seems a little bit silly to me. So I don't think it's really doing what I wanted to do. And this is what I meant, like where we'll hit limitations. But I'm going to go ahead and just type in binding pry here. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and run this. We'll say bundle exec main.rb. Bundle install. I thought we did that. Oh, you have to have Ruby in front of there. Yep. And I need to require pry for that to work. So go ahead and do that. Okay, and so we'll look at the response. And so our response, we have an audio stream. It's a string input output. So I'm thinking that what we can do is we can probably just write that to a file. Yeah, so can I just hit go to read? Yeah, okay. So that's what we'll do. This is me kind of guessing and just being very good at Ruby. Obviously, if you use another language, you'd ask me why I'm not doing that. But anyway, so we'll say file dot write. Look up. It's usually file dot open. Actually, file open file write Ruby. Just gave me a simple example. Yeah, that's basically what I want. There's like 5 different ways to write files to Ruby, and it really depends on your use case. So I think this one will be okay. This one will be just sample.mp3. And I'm just going to change this to a do here. So it's a little bit easier to read. And then we'll take this here. This might not be the most efficient way to write because it's an input-output stream. And so normally there's a better way to do this. But this is the way I'm going to do it. And so I'm hoping that this is going to write a file called poly in here. Or sorry, sample.mp3. And so we'll go ahead and just try this again. Oops, I got to exit this out here because we're still in that mode. All right, and so we have it. It looks like it's there.
All Go is divided into 3 parts. All Go is divided.
Okay, there we go. So it works, and yeah, that's why you don't want to be too reliant on other things to write code for you because they're not that great, and those old school skills do still come in handy. I don't want to commit this file, so I'm just going to go ahead and unstage. I'll just delete it manually, actually. Delete permanently here. And I'm going to save that. Just say poly code example. And I'll see you in the next one, okay? Ciao.